It's that time of the year again. La Liga predictions. All of the predictions are back. Today I'm going to predict the whole La Liga table, the relegated teams, who's going to win La Liga, of course, top scorer, best player. I'm going to predict the best signing as well. And then we're going to do the top 5 leagues first, because I know you all came here for the La Liga ones. So why not just get straight into the ones that probably no one cares about, which is Ligue 1, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to even debate anything here. It's going to be Paris Saint-Germain. Too good of a team. They strengthened their squad even more. They're probably going to sell Barcola, and then they're going to buy like 5 players like Ferran Torres, Akliouche. I mean, what else is there to say? Ligue 1 is going to be PSG. The same goes for Bundesliga. As much as I would like to say Dortmund or somebody else, it's going to be Bayern Munich, guys. It's just going to be like, they even strengthened their squad. Nathaniel Brown and Saibari, the guy who flipping destroyed the World Cup for Morocco. And they already have all of those players. And they managed to keep, of course, Michael Olise and Harry Kane, which they are just too good for this league, honestly. And as always, it's going to be Bayern Munich back to back to back. Serie A. Now, I think there will be a change. I don't think this will be Inter, and I do think Inter will either finish first or second, but I'm just going to predict something a little bit different because, you know, I think Serie A needs a little bit of a change, and that is one team that, you know, before was an absolute destroyer in Serie A, but now they are a little bit behind, and I would say Juventus is going to come back and actually win Serie A this season. It might be a crazy prediction, honestly, but I want to do something different, and I feel as though that Juve is slowly on the come up. It might not be, you know, the biggest of players signing, but I think their team is slowly getting better. It might be this season, but next season definitely, and I'm still gonna predict them to win Serie A this season. And Inter, even though they have made, you know, some crazy signings, especially for the defense like John Stones, and the fullback signings they have made as well, I think they're going to fall off a little bit in the league. Now, Premier League, probably the biggest league in the world. Not probably, it is the biggest league in the world. I'm going to go for, once again, a back-to-back winner. I'm going to say Arsenal win this league because, honestly, everything is going in favor of Arsenal. Their new signings like Tolles and even Bruno Gomes, they're players that they already have had at the club, which won the Premier League last season. And of course, Chelsea, new manager. We have a Manchester City, new manager. Liverpool, new manager. Manchester United, I don't think they're really truly there. And the other teams like Spurs and, you know, Newcastle, they have just been completely out of it. And the teams that have actually finished in the, you know, the cup competitions last season, like Brighton, you know, even Brentford was getting up there. Bournemouth finished 5th, I think. They're just not going to be competing for the title. I think Arsenal will run away with it and they will go back to back. Now, the Champions League will be last. I just, you know, I had to reel you in, but we're gonna do this. I have just this black box next to me. I know it's a little bit weird, but that is the whole La Liga table right there. I'm gonna reveal it one by one. We're not gonna be speaking too much about the teams from like 17th to 10th, because the teams are just basically doing nothing in the league, let's be honest. They're not even close to the cups, internationals, or doing anything too much to you know, get to the relegation. Maybe the 17th spot we can talk about a little bit, but right now we're gonna reveal the teams I think will get relegated, which is gonna be, the first team is gonna be in 20th place, and it's gonna be Isco Merchants. Malaga, hey, they're finally back in La Liga, but when I looked at their stats, especially in Segunda, and their players, which some of their players left as well, I think they're just going to struggle to score goals. I think they scored the least amount of goals in Segunda from the teams that have been, you know, that have been promoted, which was Malaga, Racing Santander, and Deportivo La Coruña. They did have some good players, but I think their second best player was actually sold from Malaga. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe I just get these teams always mixed up when I look at their news, but I just don't think these teams that usually get promoted to La Liga, they usually don't do well, or one of them just finishes 10th. You know, I might have that team somewhere, but let's just wait and see. I think Malaga will 100% get relegated. Now, the second team to get relegated is going to be, once again, a newly promoted Racing Santander. From what I have seen from them in, you know, from their preseason, and once again in their season in the Segunda División, it's just, I don't know. I think Deportivo La Coruña will be the best team from them, and they will actually stay up. I can reveal that too, because I just think they play the most defensive football, and I think they will not struggle too much against the defensive sides as well. It will be just an even battle, and I think they have some quality players in midfield as well. And I don't know why I believe Deportivo La Coruña will stay up. I don't know, maybe it's the preseason game against Real Madrid, but I just have a feeling that Levante will go down. And that's especially from the fact that, Eta Eyong, the first 6 months last season was absolutely sensational for them. He went to the AFCON, was completely missing from that point. And then they had Carlos Espi, which I don't know if they, reinvested that money. I didn't really look at Levante's, teams too much, because I usually only look at the top teams and the teams that get promoted, because I just want to see their business. I don't really care about the teams that are from the 13, 14, 15, because I just don't really care too much, I'm not gonna lie. If they do some great business, maybe they will stay up, but from the players that I know they have, and they lost Carlos Espi as well, which I think he scored 11 or 13 goals last season, which is great for Levante, by the way. I think they will finally go down. Now, the team that will be in 17th is actually Deportivo La Coruña. Once again, I don't know why I predicted this. I just think they will be the best defensive team out of the newly promoted teams, and they will finish 17th. I don't think it will be a case that one of these promoted teams suddenly finish 11th or 9th. I just don't see that star player in any of those teams. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe Malaga can shock me, but I'm just predicting one of them at least to stay up in the Liga. Now, let's just go from 17th right up until 10th. Now, I have Espanyol in 16th. I have, in 15th, I have Alaves. Then I have Elche falling down a little bit, because I think they will lose some of their best players, especially that center back, Afron Gruber. I think he will go to another club. Maybe he has already gone. And I think, that style of football is great if it works one time, but if the teams figure it out, I think Elche will have some more problems than last season. Sevilla 13th, I think they will stay around the same. Rayo Vallecano, I have them falling off a little bit. I don't know. I think Rayo Vallecano are a little bit, they finished 8th, then they finished 16th, then they finished 10th, then they finished 15th. They are like a yo-yo club, not in terms of, going down and up in La Liga and the Segunda, but they are just a yo-yo club in terms of where they finish in La Liga. They just don't have that consistency, in my opinion, yet. Now, Valencia in 11th, I think they finished 12th or 13th. Once again, I don't have them, too much differential in that team. Then Osasuna 10th, I think they finished in cup competitions last season, or just outside of that. I think they're gonna lose some players once again. It usually happens because the newly promoted teams usually get just, stole from by the newly promoted teams in Premier League, and the newly promoted Premier League teams also steal from the better La Liga teams that are not Atletico Madrid, Villarreal, but the Osasuna, Valencia, Sevilla. Their best player usually gets bought out to the Premier League or even Bundesliga. Honestly, it's just crazy how La Liga has absolutely no money for these teams, because when I was looking at and doing research for these teams, I was just these teams are spending maybe 15, 20 million. Some of them spent 500,000. And all of their, transfers coming in were actually loans, or loans with an option to buy. It's honestly so sad. This league is just going down and down and down, especially in revenue for the teams. But the higher-ups are earning more. Honestly, let me know what you think about this, because the team spending outside of maybe the top 5 or top 4 is absolutely horrendous, honestly. Top 9... a little bit better now. It's going to be Getafe. Hey, Harambo always works for these guys. Somehow, I don't know. But Bordelas seems to be getting the hang of La Liga. And I think they will finish a little bit lower than last season, because I think Bilbao and some teams will be better and better than they were last season. Now, Getafe 9th, Real Sociedad 8th. Once again, a team that I'm putting a little bit higher. I think the quality of the players, if they all stay fit this season, will be in 8th place. And then we have the first... It might be the first team that will be in the European Cups. This will be the Conference League. If, for example, La Liga get more spaces, I think it could be 8th if one of these teams, win Copa del Rey or something like that. But Real Betis will be getting, I think, in this, start of the season, they will be getting Conference League, because La Liga wouldn't have a conference spot in the UCL for the 5th place. Now, Real Betis, once again, I think they finished 5th, and they got Champions League last season. And, Isco is back. I think they can do great things in the league. Once again, 7th is not a bad spot for them. But the Champions League football will just be a little bit too much for them. I genuinely think the players will be more tired. There will have to be a little bit more rotation if they want to do something and have that money from the UCL, because you get so much more money from the UCL from even making it out the groups. So if they do that, I think they will take a little bit of a backseat in La Liga and they will finish 7th. Now, 6th, it will be Celta Vigo. I think Celta Vigo is just a great team. I think they have a good manager. They just always do well. Then they suddenly one season go back to 17th somehow. This team is just weird, honestly. I think they will sign at least 1 or 2 more players. But once again, if they had more money and if they could spend more money, I think they, could be pushing for that top 4 against Villarreal and these guys, because they don't play bad football, honestly. But once again, when it comes down to it, the bigger teams will always have more of the money, more of the ball. That's just because these teams cannot invest. It's honestly the truth. I have Celta Vigo finishing 6th, and for the same reason, it's Villarreal finishing in 5th. Once again, they finished in UCL spots. I think they will always be around that top 7 to top 3, top 4 places. It honestly just comes down to if they spend that money for depth and they have enough people in the team to just cope with the UCL football. I think they will be finishing 5th, and it's nothing, crazy to worry about, because Villarreal finishing in 5th, I think is still a great achievement, honestly, but UCL football as well. Now in 4th, I have Athletic Bilbao. I think last season was just a blip in their, La Liga season. I don't know what truly happened. Like, some of their players were absolutely trash. The new signings even, because they can't really bring in new signings because of, how they are operated with that Basque rule. But I just think their players will be more up to it. I think Nico Williams will be much better than last season. He couldn't really be much worse because he was absolutely trash. I think Bilbao will get back to the European spots. For sure. Bilbao might be my dark horse because I think they finished 12th last season. It was just an atrocious season. Now, the top 3 places. Third will be just Atletico Madrid. Guys, even if I wanted to put Atletico Madrid 5th or Barcelona or Real Madrid, my team, something crazy surprise, I just think there's too much of a big gap between Barcelona, Real Madrid, and then the other teams. I just think we're the top 2, and we're always going to be the top 2 if Atletico doesn't make some crazy attacking signing or a midfield signing, because Atletico in the last few years, they have only made great signings in the defense. And when they made a signing, as a Alvarez or something like that, it usually doesn't work out. Or Alvarez isn't the best type of profile for this Atletico team, because when Atletico won the league in 2021 and in 2014, I think it was, they had a crazy team that ran for their life. They had somebody, in the midfield that was technical as well, but they had a crazy team in defense, in midfield, who ran for their life, was crazy defensively, and they had a proper number 9, which scored at least 20 to 25 goals, like Diego Costa, Luis Suarez, Morata. They just had 9s, a proper number 9, which Julian Alvarez isn't, and Sorloth, let's not be, kidding ourselves, he's nowhere near those players I mentioned previously, honestly. So I just don't see them doing anything crazy. I just see them finishing 3rd. They made great signings in Grimaldo and, Cristian Romero for only 40 million. I think it was for Romero. I think they are great signings, but once again, they're just strengthening their strengths and not really looking at their weaknesses. And if they lose Julian Alvarez, it might be a better situation for them, because they can reinvest that money for a proper number 9. So, but I just don't see the deal happening, honestly. I think the Julian Alvarez deal is just a little bit weird. Now, the top 2 situation, guys. I'm pretty sure all of you are waiting for this. Who am I going to predict? Is it going to be delusional? Is it going to be José Mourinho first season back to the top? But is it going to be Barcelona 3 times in a row? There's just some crazy superstitions to this. But I just don't feel like it's going to happen, guys. Honestly, I'm being the most unbiased as I can be, because I don't see this team being consistent over 12 months with our defense. And I can reveal it. I think Barcelona is going to go back to back to back. I honestly do. I think this Barcelona team is perfectly built for league football. They have enough depth especially with the players they have bought already. And the players, by the way, they have finally gotten rid of, which is like Ter Stegen, Ferran Torres for like 58 million, and Araujo on loan. They can now reinvest their money, they can now reinvest their wages into somebody else, and they are much better off because Araujo actually hurts them. And I think Ferran Torres only did great in goals and, goal involvements last season because Barcelona are so great at creating chances. If they actually get a striker, I don't think it's going to be a Julian Alvarez situation or a center back. It doesn't even have to be both. If they get like Lukeba and they try to, sign a striker, maybe, I just don't know, a proper number 9. Even if it's Julian Alvarez, I still think Julian Alvarez will be doing better than Ferran Torres. It's just a fact. I think Julian Alvarez maybe doesn't score as much because he just isn't that type of profile as a striker, but he will make Lamine Yamal score more. I'm telling you guys. And the only problem I have with Real Madrid and why I'm putting them second in La Liga is not the signings that we have made. Is not the the team that we have in the midfield, in the attack. I just genuinely think the center back situation for Real Madrid will be the end of La Liga once again. Because I'm gonna have to be honest, and I want to be delusional, and I want to see Real Madrid win everything. But I honestly, if you ask me, where Real Madrid is more suited to right now, we are more attacking and we are better in midfield than in defense. We honestly are. Even if we don't have the most balance in, those areas, I still think we have more talent, more depth, more ability in midfield and in the attack. I like our fullbacks, but once again, Trent and Dumfries, kind of the same thing. What if one gets injured? Do I trust the other to stay fit? I don't know. The left back situation, Cucurella. Once again, if Cucurella gets injured or doesn't have the greatest of forms, it can happen, honestly. Football can change like this. Like, we were literally the best team in 23-24, and then suddenly some of our players looked like donkeys, and Kylian Mbappe, the best player in the world, joined us, and he looked like donkey shit as well. So, anything can happen. We can finish first. José Mourinho is a great league manager, and I hope we do. But we might be winning some other competition, guys. We might be winning some other competition, because if you did not know, Barcelona, in terms of me, and just because of the center-back situation, if we sign another center-back, I might be, my opinion might be different. But I'm making this video with the teams I have on paper. And with the assumptions that we might sign a center-back and Barcelona, but they might sign Rodri and this guy and that guy. So I'm putting these assumptions and, rumors into my head as well. But I just think they will have too much. The UCL is ours, chat. The UCL will be Real Madrid's. If you did not know, of course, this is the table of last season, but these clubs like Arsenal, Bayern, Liverpool, Tottenham, blah, 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 some of them won't even be in this table. It doesn't matter. Barcelona are never going to win a UCL again. Bayern Munich are little boys. Even though they beat us, they can never win the UCL. Liverpool are just trash in the UCL when it comes to beating. Like, I don't know what it is with Liverpool. They can have the best team in the world. They will still lose. Arsenal, they went to the final, they bottled it. And do you genuinely think Real Madrid is gonna let these bums do back to back in the UCL? We can let Barcelona do it, they have already done it in 09, 10, 11, or like 08, 09, 010. I was like 40 years old, so let me off. Well, Real Madrid, guys. Do you know where the final is in the Champions League? Do you know where the final is? It's in these bums of a stadium. The Champions League final of the 2026-27 season is at the Metropolitano. And what else? Who else would it be? Who else would just snatch that three-peat from PSG and win it in our rivals' stadium, which is gonna be the Metropolitano, guys? I have to be delusional. Yes, I did predict Barcelona to win La Liga only because we're going to win the UCL. Mbappe is going to win his first UCL. Every single player that is at this club is going to win another UCL or their first UCL as well. And José Mourinho has already won the league with Real Madrid, guys. So why not win the Champions League in his first season? Am I being delusional? I don't fucking care, guys. I don't care. You can cook me in the comments. You won't win the Champions League. You're not good enough. You're not even good enough to win La Liga. Yes, because you know why? We don't have the team and depth to go the long way for 10, 12 months in La Liga. I agree. But what we have, the ability and the talent and the experience now is the Champions League. We have enough hunger, we have enough old players, we have enough depth for the Champions League to do it. And I am banking on that these players will actually stay fit. I am banking on some of these players to finally stay fit the whole season and in some of those most crucial UCL games, because we didn't do that in the last 2 seasons, let's be honest. We, for example, for some games, we didn't have Jude Bellingham. We didn't have, Kylian Mbappe. We didn't have Thibaut Courtois for the last Bayern games. So I'm banking on these players to actually stay fit and have a full season in the UCL. We will lose to Barcelona in the Liga, but win the Champions League. Am I delusional? Maybe I am, but doesn't it just write itself? 2026-27, José Mourinho joins Real Madrid. The final is in the Metropolitano of the Atletico Madrid Stadium. Kylian Mbappe has never won a UCL. José Mourinho has never won a UCL with Real Madrid. It's there, guys. It's honestly just there. And I think it's fair. I honestly, if I had to put, a bet on the line, if I had to put a house on the line, I think Barcelona wins La Liga, and I think Real Madrid wins the Champions League. Now, these were my, winnings, the table predictions of every single league. Now, for the best player of La Liga and the top scorer of La Liga, I'm not even going to waste time with this, honestly, guys. I'm going to say, by the way, if you're watching Football Chaos tonight, I'm going to, put a rage bait there and say Jude Bellingham is going to be the best player, even though Barcelona win the title. I just going to, I want to just rough some feathers up. So don't be cooking me too much in that. I just said Jude Bellingham because of a fellow Barca content creator, Barca React. So that's why. But I'm going to say the top scorer is going to be Kylian Mbappe, like always. And the top player, if Barcelona wins the title, is just going to be Lamine Yamal. It's just the easiest prediction of all time. And the best signing is actually going to be Cucurella for Real Madrid, because I don't think Barcelona will be making too many signs that are going to be too surprising. And I think genuinely that Cucurella improves Real Madrid the most out of every single club. If I had to pick a close second, it's going to be Romero for Atletico Madrid or Rodri for Barcelona. Just in the fact of we didn't get him, Barcelona got him. He made us much worse not getting Rodri, and he made them a little bit better. That's the point. But yes, Real Madrid is going to be winning the UCL. Barcelona is going to be winning La Liga back to back. I said Ligue 1 is going to be PSG, Bundesliga is going to be Bayern, Serie A is going to be Juventus, and in the Premier League it's going to be Arsenal, the bottlers of the UCL. We're not letting PSG go for the three-peat. Trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. We're doing it in the Atletico Madrid Stadium with Mourinho and Kylian Mbappe, which is going to be the top scorer of La Liga, and the best player of La Liga is going to be Lamine Yamal, because Barcelona are going to win it. Honestly, I tried to be as unbiased as I could be. I'm still going to get cooked, I know, but do I care? Not really, I'm not going to lie. Thank you so much for watching. Drop your predictions down below, of course. And please, if you're already down there, like the video, it helps so much. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.